Dear friends, welcome to the family of knowledge world. First of all, I'm very sorry because I could not make videos and I was really too busy due to my studies. But now I'll make sure that I will simultaneously be uploading lectures. So, we in the previous lecture we discussed regarding the Indian Councils Act 1861. Okay, so today we will discuss about the Indian Councils Act 1892. We will discuss the act, historical background, like how we discussed in the previous lecture. We will discuss the act, historical background, the provisions of the act, the important significance, and one or two important facts. Okay, so as we know, I'll quickly give the summary of the Indian Councils Act 1861. So, Indian Councils Act 1861, as we know that there was non-official member, there were Indians, but they were not elected. Okay, they were nominated. Okay, so this had a great difference. In the meantime, what happened? After the revolt of 1857, there was quiet for a long time. There was no revolution, there was no national movement, but one important event took place. Okay, so we'll go to the historical background of the act. So one important event took place. The event was in 1885. There was a formation of Indian National Congress. Okay, this marked the beginning of Indian freedom struggle. Okay, as we know, from 1885 to 1905, 20 years era of moderates, which I don't want to go in. I'll do it in the lecture of history. So here, what happened? National feelings began to arise, and Congress at that time began to demand that legislative councils should be elected rather than nominated. Okay, they also demanded that there should be a provision, or the members of the council should discuss the budget. Okay, before it was not allowed. So what happened? Lord Dufferin, who was the viceroy at that time, he constituted a committee to look into this, but the Secretary of State did not agree to direct elections. Okay, so indirect elections they agreed to. So due to this demands, the Indian Councils Act 1892 was passed. This act was passed in 1892 and commenced in February 1893. Okay, so we will quickly go to the provisions of the act. First, the legislative councils had non-official members elected. Okay, but the methods of election was indirect. Okay, not direct elections, indirect elections. Okay, second provision, the members of the legislative council had the authority, or had they were allowed to discuss budget. Okay, financial matters was discussed, but they could not vote. They could discuss. See how unfortunate it is. You are Indian, you are discussing the budget, but you can't vote. So it's really, it's an irony of so. And next point, you have the legislative council was nominated, like provincial legislative council was elected on the basis of this universities, zamindars, and all those institutions used to nominate members to the council, whereas in the center there was governor who used to take care of indirect elections. Okay, there was a viceroy who used to take care of indirect elections. So these three were the main important provisions. Okay, the importance of the act. The importance of the act was the number of Indians was increased in the legislative council, and this was the first step towards the representative government. Okay, representative government, it means the people were elected, but however the method was indirect. I don't know how they are calling representative. Okay, because most of the time it was Britishers only, but still it says that representative government. Okay, And the defects of the act was, even though there were non-official members, it got increased both in the Imperial Council and in the legislative provincial legislative council, but there was official majority still maintained. Okay, due to the policy of moderates and due to this act, no more changes were made, only indirect elections were given, that's all. So what happened due to this? The militant nationalism, okay, began to grow in India. Okay, one side there was a militant nationalism. Okay, one side there was extremist led by Indian National Congress. Okay, led by Indian National Congress. So extremists or radicals, you can say. They say, Britishers say extremist, so we say radicals, that is Lal Bal Pal. Okay, so we also, the book calls it militant nationalism. It was a revolutionary nationalism. What happened? Revolutionaries, like, what happened for Chapakar brothers, and after that, in then Gadar party. All those things are due to this dissatisfaction by the moderates and also by the British. Important facts of the act is, this act laid the foundation for representative government. Friends, if you have any questions, you can ask me, and by next lecture I will cover the Morley-Minto reforms of 1909. Thank you.